people who involve themselves in this and how they walk with this confidence, but it's so disturbing confidence. It's confidence of pedophilia. That's why I see them as, this channel has been a lot about the reason why I make these videos is because when things are done to me, when memories are manipulated, when things are done to me, I talk about it. For some reason, they think that now I'm going to subscribe to this. You see this video 3 years ago, a little less than 3. It was October 2020. I literally talk about memory manipulation. Ever since then, there's been a lot of manipulation of a lot of memories. And with time, I see that changing every time. And my memories I experience in different ways. Now I'm talking about this sister of somebody I was dating. And every time I talk about it, they make me scratch my leg or something to try to create these things. And so I talked about it 2-3 years ago. It's like they're doing this thing to my memories and make me relive my memories in different fashion. Right? And I'm listening to these people while they're falsifying these memories, right? It's making me imagine this moment of this ex-girlfriend. And when I say ex-girlfriend, it's not really ex-girlfriend. Somebody I was with for a short time period, talking to me about how she called her sister doing something in the bathroom. She was in the bathroom doing something, and then she was using the shower head or something like that. Was showing the shower thing to do something. Now, I knew that's what she meant. Okay, that's what you get it, right? And so now they're giving me an extreme vivid imagination of that. And the reason why, and if you're going to listen to my previous video, is because they force people to have these pedophilia thoughts and force people to have child porn playing in the mind. And this is a moment where this child is doing something to herself, And yes, it's this. And now they make me imagine that in this disgusting ways. But once you told me, I was like, okay, well, that's okay, that's kind of embarrassing. But it's embarrassing for the sister because she was all loud about it. She humiliated the poor girl. She's like 12 years old. I was like, come on, that's kind of mean. Because like, oh, yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, it's the second time. Always kind of like, that's kind of mean. I was like, that's mean. You shouldn't be saying that to me about your sister. Like, that is embarrassing. And now, the imagination they make me have of what this kid did is disgusting. Right? It started 2-3 days ago. They started making me imagine and try to create this imagination. And of course, they orchestrate these things like, what we're going to manipulate. If you look at, and I'm going to make sure to do this, I'm going to take time and put in my descriptions related videos. And I want everybody to go into my old channels and see the different, what I've been talking about. What they've been doing is systematically go through my memories. Wherever there's something with children, implanting the stimulation, sensations, perception that weren't there. Another thing that now they're doing is just even creating perception of memories of like, oh, you imagined it like this, you start, and they give me a very, 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 very descriptive imagination of what this kid probably was doing, and it's so nasty. And then they're like, oh no, we just reminded you that's how you thought of it. No, you are manipulating my memories in these ways. I've made so many videos about memory manipulations, so many. So no, it's a reminder, and of course they gaslight you. And that's just like open the door, and I'm like, trash. And I see this guy, he's walking, he's trying to, because I think in their mind, they really think that I don't know, like I'm not standing on what I'm saying. Like in my mind, when I see this guy, I'm like, you're just dirt. You're just low life. You might be treating me like this, but you're the real bottom feeder pedophile. I'd rather die however I'm going to die than do what these people do. They really think they don't look like pedophiles in low life. And they have this gimmicky way to like, oh, just reminding you. Trash. You do the pedophilia type of torture. You want me to start accepting these disturbing thoughts. So you bring in this moment, which after, it's funny. Like I remember, like, because this girl, right, this sister, they would try to mess with me when she was older, when she was like in her late teen, early adulthood. It's like, now because I remember seeing the Instagram of the person I used to date. I used to have a huge crush on her. And I see the little sister. I remember the little sister. Look how big she is now. And of course, when I see her, I remember, I remember the embarrassing moment. But it was not like, oh my gosh, I imagine her in the bathroom. No, I remember seeing when she was a little girl. It's like, oh, now she's like almost as big as her sister, if not taller. And they're like, oh, you see, that's her. And you want her, you want this. Like, and now they're going back into like this moment. And it's like, oh, you see, but you're thinking about her like this. And it's like, try to create these imaginations of that. I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, he wants you, he wants to rape you. I'm like, and the things they say, it, to disorient me, because this moment, they want to have this back and forth. Because of course I know they falsify the memories and create false imagination. That's why I make videos. Because tomorrow I'm going to experience it differently. Every day is changing. Now they're adding stimulation to that. Before it was the vivid imaginations. Now it's the stimulations. And it's going to be created every time to break you down. And they like to call it being a war. It's not a war. The technology is military grade weaponry. What I am is a subject. And they do these things. And I just saw somebody in his flip-flops. That's his war shoes. This grown low-life pedophiles wants to break you down. I'd rather die this way. I understand this is the horrible thing that I'm going to deal with, especially for these people who want to create this theater. They know I don't subscribe to this thing. It's over. I've been validated by the way they do things. They do this perfect type of torture. Almost 1,000 people have said this child porn things implanted in their mind. So they're finding ways to try to counter reality. By saying, oh no, but you see that? She told you about this. You thought of, and they start giving me vivid imaginations. Oh no, we're reminding you. No, you're changing the way I'm imagining things. You're changing the way I think about things. You work for pedophiles. Let me remind you of that. Sorry, let me say that better. The entities that empower you, that give you the power to remind me, are filled with pedophiles. The way you script, you are not real, going to try to counter. These entities are filled with pedophiles. That's reality. You have the ability to go into my brain and do these things. It's empowered by you, but entities filled with pedophiles. Now, this trash who sold this soul to pedophiles out here now try to make me subscribe to this thing. And I'm going to repeat it 1,000 times, because when I say it, the one I hear is two different things. This moment, and let me repeat that clearly. The memory they're manipulating is when somebody who I used to be with, right, for a short time period, go home to her place to pick up a few things and before we leave, right? I'm in her bedroom, it's the first time I go, I see her parents. First time I meet her family in person. She goes in the bathroom. I hear her yelling and whatever and calling, hey, Mom, I saw her do this again. I'll have it like, what's going on? I see her, she comes back in my bedroom. In my bedroom, her bedroom, I'm sorry. And so she started like, tell me, oh my gosh, my little sister, she always do this. Second time seeing her in the shower doing this. I was like, what? And they make me imagine that. It's like, I saw her doing this. I'm like, okay. It's like, that's kind of mean. Because you're embarrassing your sister. And now I don't say that, but I'm thinking that's kind of mean. Like that's mean. Like like that. I'm a visitor. I don't need to know that. You don't need to embarrass her like that. Now I know this. I know what she's saying. She's being kind of descriptive. Like, okay, she used the shower head, and then I was like, okay, I know what you're trying to say, right? Now you understand how they can use this moment to make me now imagine a very depictive picture of what she's doing. And so that's disgusting. But not only that, now they're creating sexual arousals to it. And then because it's just overdoing it, they try to slowly, like, they go back a little bit. So, okay, when somebody was talking about something like that, would you ever be, remember when she... It's like, what? And they try to give me imagination in my memories. Now they're making me imagine having my memories have this kind of descriptive memories of what this kid was doing, making me really imagine what she was doing, like vividly, because this is what she was doing. But the way, or at least that's how something like that could be done, but giving me very descriptive, disturbing imagination of it. Because in reality, I'll see her as like, all right, I know. I remember her being cut like that without having that descriptive imagination. The V2K gives you this extremely extreme imaginations. A normal brain doesn't have to have this kind of imagination. They give you like this photogenic like imaginations, and it's disgusting. And so when before it's like, oh yeah, I remember when, and now they give me deep imagination of that. No, I never had this thoughts like that. It's no. And it really making me imagine a moment when I'm alone, thinking about it, by myself. Try to give it some. First of all, like, oh no, just man, you were just randomly thinking about it. No. And they're like, no, but what about? Didn't you feel bad for her when she was embarrassed? What? And then they try to give me again this deep imagination of it. No. They're literally giving me imagination that I never experienced. But I experienced what the sister told me, and I understand what she meant. And they try to find ways to make you accept this shit. But you see, memories is how they manipulate things. These trash and bottom feeders who actually work for pedophiles, let me repeat that. I keep saying that they don't work for pedophiles. The entities that contract this shit are filled with pedophiles. And they're trying to create these false memories because they want you to imagine children in having sexual moments or something sexual with children. Because what they do is they implant child porn in your brain. This morning was disgusting. That's what they do. They implant disturbing thoughts about children in your head. That's their job. They're assigned to break you down using pedophilia. These low lives, that's all they sold to pedophiles. And so they create this different version. I'll never experience it the same way. I know how it goes. It'll be this disgusting version where they make me imagine laying down and remember. They try to do all kind of tricks where, like, even when you're in bed, thinking, oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing for this poor girl. And then start making me imagine this thing. Try to trick into, like, making me imagine this thing and crank it up as my memory. That's my memory. Just to imagine me think about this kid doing these things. It's pathetic. To all my target individuals, stay strong. This bottom feeder walked by me. That's why I felt like it was just trash walking by me. He was supposed to walk by me and make me feel guilty, but he walked by me. I felt like it was just the shit. I don't like to curse, but that's truly how I feel. I felt like shit walking by me. Now he's probably cleaner than me. He's probably very healthy, but I felt a human shit walking by me because his job is to do these nasty pedophilia things. I felt his nastiness. And he tried to use this deep voice. He's fair. This is the things you do. That's life. That's how life could be. No, I'd rather get raped, like they say. There is that's no way a self-respected man should be living. There's better, like, life in a whole, being castrated is better than living that life. To all my target individuals, stay strong. Because these pedophiles will do everything possible to make you accept these ways of thinking. I call them pedophiles because maybe they're not literally pedophiles, but because what they do and their quote-unquote war consists of pedophilia type of tormenting, I call them pedophiles. So to all my target individuals, stay strong.